About gold fringes and missing seals and martial law. March 23, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. I have commented about this topic before, but I am seeing a lot of confusion and questions out there regarding the changes in flags and presidential seals and the absence of the UN flag and other trappings in recent Whitehouse press conferences, etc. The gold-fringed, sometimes called executive flag, is technically called the national colors and has been used to operate this country under color of law by the Pope and the British Interlopers. It has no more real power or significance than a piece of fancy bunting. It is decorative and meant to evoke an appearance of the government of this country, without really doing so. Just like the appearance of justice that the courts have been giving us, it's an illusion, an apparition, an impression of one thing, while in fact, something else is going on. The actual flag of the Federal Republic, the American Confederation, missing since 1860, can be seen on display, struck, in the Capitol Rotunda and House and Senate chambers, where it is seen hanging in a vertical, struck position, giving notice to everyone who sees it and understands what it means, that that government is struck, incompetent, bankrupt, or otherwise in abeyance and distress. This struck flag has been there in plain view for over 150 years, and all the Americans and especially all the U.S. military personnel who saw this in person or on C-SPAN over the years, never connected the dots. I excuse average Americans for not knowing international flag protocol, but our highest-ranking generals and admirals and the various generations of United States senators and congressional members all missed the point too? Really? How credible is that? Everything I have told you about the Confederacy never being reconstructed and the Confederacy accidentally on purpose being mistaken as the actual government of this country is true. The evidence is all around you, in your face. Also, please note that this country has been under martial law since 1863, as a direct result of the circumstance described above. Any talk about "oh, wow, we're under martial law," as if this is anything new or different, is silly. The only things new here is that 1. The people of this country woke up, declared their correct political status, assembled their states of the Union, and are operating their unincorporated, sovereign, federation of states, the United States of America, and 2. Sensing that things were not going well for them, the Board of Directors of the Municipal Corporation of the District of Columbia decided to seek bankruptcy, and run that bankruptcy of the United States, Inc., is in the process of final settlement right now. As a result, you will no longer be hearing references to the President of the United States and no longer seeing the associated seal of that office in use, nor will you see the United Nations flag, because the territorial government, doing business as the United States of America, never joined the United Nations. In truth and in fact, our unincorporated Federation of States, doing business as the United States of America, delegated all the delegated powers ever granted to any of the federal subcontractors or ever exercised by them for us, so the pretense that the Confederacy, our primary federal subcontractor, was ever necessary for our government to function is ridiculous. It is also patently false to imagine that the powers delegated to the Confederacy somehow devolved upon the remaining federal subcontractors as a result of civil war. The powers delegated to the Confederacy returned to the Federation of States the moment that the Confederation ceased to function in March of 1861 by operation of law. Any supposition otherwise is predicated merely on the fact that the states and people were not properly given notice and information necessary to take the proper action and complete the reconstruction. We were instead purposefully misled by the British monarch operating in breach of trust, who substituted their territorial states of states for our American states of states, like a cuckoo bird in our nest. Unfortunately, many American bureaucrats were fooled by this deception or proved disloyal or were bought off, with the result that this deception and substitution went unnoticed for over a century and a half. Mr. Trump is hereby authorized and instructed to enter the Capitol and set the American flag in the Rotunda, House, and Senate chambers in the upright position, horizontal. Our flag is to be flown in the upright position in the Capitol Rotunda and in the House and the Senate chambers now and forevermore. Any emergency occasioned by the disappearance of the Confederation is resolved by the presence and assembly of the American states and people and their unincorporated Federation of the States of the Union doing business as the United States of America, the delegator of all powers ever delegated to the Confederation or any other federal subcontractor. All members of the territorial government are to be fully informed, as are members of all world governments. The American states and people are home, populating their states of the Union, running their state assemblies, settling their business, operating their federation of states, working toward the completion of the long overdue reconstruction of the Federal Confederation of States of States. While all these tasks and duties are being accomplished, we rely upon Mr. Trump and the treaties and contracts we maintain with the Government of Westminster and with the Government of Her Majesty, Elizabeth II, to provide us with the uncontested and complete revenue of all the assets owed to us and to the land, sea, and soil jurisdiction of this country. Our assets, both public and private, are to be returned to the control of the American states and people and to our rightful international government, the United States of America, complete with the loyal and proper assistance and compliance of the territorial United States government throughout the process of restoration and reconstruction.